Hi everyone, my name is Urvin and I'm making this video to demonstrate my task 4.3D, which is on the advanced ORM mapping using the entity framework code. So this task is the extended version of my previous task 4.2C by implementing a new persistence layer using the entity framework code. So while following the repository pattern and the dependency injection principles from the previous task, I have installed the necessary packages for the entity framework core, including npg SQL, which is the PostgreSQL driver, also the entity framework design package via command line interface. So the main command used is .NET-EF for entity framework codes. So after that, I have used the database first approach to reverse engineer the existing PostgreSQL database into by using the entity framework code and a DB context called robot context. So here is my robot context. So what I have implemented is I have ensured that both the robot command and map tables had primary keys configured correctly before scaffolding the database. So after that, I have generated the models and updated their property by naming them from Pascal case to the existing domain models, because in database we usually use small case. So the next I have implemented the two new repository classes, which is the robot command ef and map.ef. So this is my map.ef and this is my robot command ef. So these classes are again, like we have previously discussed, these classes implement the interfaces, which are the iRobot command data access and IMAP data access, but this time using the entity framework code. So inside this robot context class, here you can see in the robot context class, I have configured the Postgres database connectivity and also enabled the detailed entity framework logging using the log2 method. So this allowed me to capture all the SQL queries for analysis and reporting. And then in the program.cs, here is my program.cs. So here I have switched the dependency injection configuration from previous repository to entity framework. Here you can see I have written map ef and then robot command ef instead of repository method. So this this is done to implement the new entity framework implementation, because the controllers depend only on interfaces, not on the endpoints. So I have tested this whole project using the Swagger UI interface. As I have also discussed in previous videos, that Swagger is used to for testing purposes and to provide a user interface to a backend service to perform CRUD operation. So hence I have tested all the endpoints of get method, post method, and so on. So so I have also created, so after that testing and checking for debugging as well, so I also created an EF report txt file that contains all the SQL queries generated for every method in robot command EF and map EF as required per the task sheet. So here you can see all the necessary commands that are being used by the entity framework core. So overall, this task helped me to understand the advanced ORF concepts by using the entity framework core and following the database first approach, and also the dependency injection and the advanced type of repository pattern implementation. So thank you for watching. This was my whole demonstration for this task.